As our world wildly veers towards one disaster to another, it's also a good idea to stop and smell the rapidly decaying roses once in a while, just to remind us that things could always be worse. From water tornadoes to the curiously titled icicles of death, here are the 15 most dangerous natural phenomena in the world. Number 15. Waterspout. From its name alone, you know the waterspout is probably not going to be pleasant. But the reality is actually even worse, if you can believe that. Just once, I'd like to find a natural phenomenon called a candy spout or something. Can we make that happen, universe? To put things in the most basic and understandable terms, a waterspout is a tornado that forms over water. It shares all the same basic characteristics as a land-based tornado. Only this one is often accompanied by thunderstorms, high winds, violent seas, large hail, and some very, very dangerous lightning. Number 14. Brinacle. We didn't make this one up, I promise. The brinacle is very real, and it's pretty much fatal for anybody that happens to get caught up in it. Although, let's be honest, death by brinacle sounds like a great one for the eulogy. A brinacle is what happens when frigid air temperatures cause seawater in the Arctic regions of the globe to freeze. While all other water tends to freeze into one solid block of ice, this seawater freezes as a weird, sponge-like crystalline structure that has some concentrated salt water, or brine, within it. Hence, brinacle. What a creative name. However, consider yourself lucky. Brinicles are apparently not dangerous to humans, since we never really travel beneath the ice sheets. Number 13. Beacon of Maracaibo. Is this not one of the coolest named phenomena you've ever heard of in your life? The Beacon of Maracaibo is pretty breathtaking and just a little dangerous. It's also a world record holder, which I'm pretty sure is a rare occurrence for a natural phenomenon. They don't tend to have many talents. For over 9 hours a day on 300 days of the year, there is a continuous streak of lightning that hits over Venezuela's Lake Maracaibo. It's such a regular occurrence that the Guinness Book of World Records named Venezuela as the holder of the record for highest concentration of lightning, which is pretty cool, right? Not when you consider the plight of the poor fishermen. Number 12. Submarine volcano. We've spent so much of our time on this planet freaking out about land volcanoes that we never stopped to freak out about the many volcanoes lurking underwater. And there are many apparently. It's really surprising that we still go in the ocean at all. The whole thing seems designed to just kill us. In fact, some of the most productive volcanoes on Earth lie deep underwater, many under 8,500 feet of water to be specific. These submarine volcanoes produce around 75% of the world's annual output of magma. It's all of that magma and lava that then provide the world's most unusual ecosystems with heat and chemicals, believe it or not. So they're productive and also helpful, which, believe me, is a rare combination. Worlds. Number 11. Ice tsunami. It may look like we're just putting words together now, but we're not. Well, we are, but not in this case. The ice tsunami is an impressive visual phenomenon that is also incredibly dangerous for unsuspecting humans. Mostly because we've never seen it before. Also, we're pretty stupid. For an intelligent species, an ice tsunami is not the same as a water tsunami. In fact, the ice tsunami works more as a big, moving iceberg. If the ocean current is particularly strong, or the winds are powerful, the waves push huge piles of ice onto the land, some up to 40 feet high. The power of these ice tsunami is so immense that it can completely destroy buildings just by impact. Number 10. Milky Sea Phenomenon. Legendary adventure writer Jules Verne invented many things for his work, but one of the things he did not invent is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The Milky Sea, a phenomenon that sees water mysteriously light up in an almost inhuman glow. Number 9. Global warming. If there's one natural phenomenon we should be concerned about over all others, it's this. Climate change is real, and it's already causing irreversible damage to the natural state of our world. Global warming is already becoming uncontrollable. When carbon dioxide, or CO2, and other pollutants or greenhouse gases gather in the atmosphere, they begin absorbing the sunlight and solar radiation. But, whereas typically this radiation would just evaporate into space, those accumulated pollutants trap the heat and reflect it back towards the planet, resulting in the greenhouse effect, or, if you want a more straightforward name, global warming, which in turn is just one aspect of climate change. If global warming were to continue escalating, we'd see animals going extinct, water drying up around the world, as well as more unpredictable weather patterns and wildfires. It's all very Mad Max. Scientists have been warning of these environmental problems for decades. Number 8. Fire whirl. Yes, fire whirls sound like a really fun thing that would happen on Independence Day or something, but they're actually not fun at all. A single fire whirl can cause miles and miles of devastation, some of which may never actually be undone. A fire whirl is a rising twist of hot air that sucks flames up and basically turns itself into a towering, blazing whirlwind. If they become big enough, these things can become full-scale fire tornadoes, which combine the devastation of a regular tornado with some extra burny chaos. Fire whirls are generally only found in the midst of wildfires, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. They are, however, dangerous in just about every single way, with one famous 1923 whirl in Japan killing 38,000 people in just 15 minutes. Number 7. Foamy storm. It's pretty unsettling to see a whole city underwater, no matter the circumstances. But there's an unusual, extra helping of unsettling when it comes to the sudden influx of sea foam running through a city. It's hard to imagine that there is an explanation for this one, but I'll find a way. This is a rare occurrence. It generally happens after big storms or cyclones, washing up the salt water's proteins, dead algae, and other particles onto the surface, and, more often than not, into the streets of its nearby city. Number 6. Avalanches. Do we really need to explain why avalanches are so dangerous? It's just a collection of big hunks of snow and ice falling at a speed so great that it could quickly flatten you on impact. There are so many movies and stories about the danger of avalanches that it almost feels pointless to explain. Most avalanches are caused by humans, around 90% in fact, and they're usually the cause of approximately 40 deaths in the United States alone. But the real danger of the avalanche comes from the unpredictability of their arrival. There's simply no way to know where or when one of these natural killers will strike. Some could be powdered snow sloughs moving as a relatively harmless mass, or they could be huge slabs of snow and ice moving at up to 100 miles an hour. Number 5. Wildfires. Of all the natural disasters you can suffer, this has to be one of the most feared. We've all seen the catastrophic wildfires that have swept the planet over the past few years, so we all know just how devastating these things can be. Wildfires are unplanned fires that spread across natural areas like forest or grassland. While most are started by humans or just natural phenomena, around half are complete mysteries and nobody truly knows how they began. A single wildfire can result in a spread that all but wipes out the basic necessities of human life. Transportation, communication, water supply, air quality, I could go on. Number 4. Lightning strikes. The chances of you being struck by lightning are low, to say the least. There's about a 1 in 1.2 million chance of you being struck by lightning in a given year.
Holy shit!
So it's not something to be concerned about when you leave the house, but it can be pretty unfortunate.
For my head.
Which I'm sure you know is a lot. In fact, it's more energy than can be found in a nuclear reactor. If you were struck by that bolt, the disruption in your heart's rhythm would possibly result in sudden cardiac arrest, which is the thing that most often kills victims of lightning. Number 3. Tornadoes. Very few people know that tornadoes actually start from thunderstorms that then extend the rotating column of air down to the ground. That column then goes on to cause untold destruction across whichever location is unfortunate enough to have been hit. The more violent tornadoes can generate wind speeds of up to 300 miles per hour. Capable of destroying large buildings and hurling vehicles some hundreds of yards away. All of this damage together can be anywhere up to 50 miles in length. It's hard to imagine a simple column of air causing this much damage, but it's absolutely true. Tornadoes are relatively rare compared to other natural phenomena, but they're incredibly dangerous. Number 2. Landslides. A landslide is the unhinged cousin of the avalanche, an unpredictable and gleefully chaotic falling of rocks, earth, or debris along a sloped section of land. They're also one of the costliest natural disasters in the world, but we'll get to that. Usually, landslides are caused by other natural disasters, including earthquakes, volcanoes, or rain, so in a way, they're like aftershocks and earthquakes, if not more costly. When they occur in or near populated areas, they can be a major life-threatening hazard, and are often found to cause somewhere between 25 and 50 deaths per year in the United States. Number 1. Earthquakes. Need we say more? The earthquake is the most dangerous natural phenomena in the world, if only because it's both the most fatal and the most common anywhere on the planet. Most people will experience an earthquake at some point in their lives, so this should be #relatable. The cause of earthquakes begins in, you guessed it, the Earth. When underground rock breaks along the fault, the sudden release of energy creates seismic waves that force the broken rocks to rub together until they break. When the rocks break, the pressure is released, and the earthquake finally occurs until they get stuck again. Earthquakes are responsible for an unimaginable amount of deaths every single year, and cost a substantial amount in damages. It seems that we see a number of countries experiencing the devastation every single year, and sadly, that isn't going to end anytime soon. What makes earthquakes doubly dangerous is its consequences. Strong earthquakes bring aftershocks, tsunamis, landslides, and a whole bunch of other entries on our list. An earthquake is not just a disaster in its own right, it's basically the key that opens up a lot of doors to a lot of extra trouble. Have you ever witnessed or experienced any of these natural phenomena? Let us know in the comments.